Link sharing. Link sharing is when you can share the link to a file. When you share the link to a file, you can control how widely the file is shared and with what permissions it is shared with. There are multiple ways of sharing the link to a file. We're going to go through each of these individually. The first option is to click Share from within the document you are sharing. Up here, I can see the option to share. At the bottom of this pop-up, it says Get Link. And on the right-hand side, I'm given the option to copy the link. Once I copy that link, it goes onto my clipboard. And then I'm able to paste it into a new location. This might be an email or another document. We're going to go through some of the advanced settings for getting the link later on in the video. The second option is to right-click or two-finger tap over the file from within Google Drive. Here I can see a file that is being stored on Google Drive. If I do a two-finger tap or a right-click over the top of that file, a menu appears. From here I can click Get Link, and again I can copy the link. It tells me here that the link has been copied. The third option is to click on the link symbol from inside the folder where the document is being stored. In my Google Drive, inside this folder, here is a document that I want to share. If I select that document, some options come up at the right-hand side. This option here is to get the link. If I click on that, again I'm able to copy link and then paste it into a new location. The final option for sharing the link to a file is at the top of the screen. You can see here a long URL. This is the link to the document that I'm currently working on. If I click in this box and press Ctrl and C, that means I've then copied that link to my clipboard. So again, I would be able to paste it into a new location, either using right-click, a two-finger tap, or Ctrl and V to paste. There are a couple of important things to note when you're trying to share a link. The first point to note is that you will only have permission to share if the owner of the file has granted it. This often means that if you are the editor of a file, then you will be able to share it with others. If you are the viewer of a file, it is likely that you will not have permission to share. The second point to note is that files will inherit the sharing permissions from the folder they are stored in. We're going to have a little look at sharing permissions in just a moment. But what that means is if a file is created from inside a shared folder, there is no need to update the permissions of that file because it will automatically inherit the permissions from the folder that it is being stored in. Okay, so when we click on Share or Get Link, we're given a couple of options at the bottom of the pop-up. The first option is to share it in restricted mode. Here you can see that restricted means that only people added can open with this link. So if I copy and paste this link, the only people that will be able to open it are people that I've added or shared the document with. So if I haven't shared it with anybody, that means that this document is completely restricted to my private use. If, of course, this document has been created from within a shared folder, then it will inherit the sharing permissions of that folder and it will be able to be opened by anybody who is also permissioned into that folder. We're going to learn a little bit more about that in another video. The second option that we're given is Elliott Foundation. So just beneath where it says Get Link, it gives us the option to change to the Elliott Foundation. That means that anyone in this group with this link can view. It's important to note that it says Elliott Foundation and not your individual school or academy. This means that any member of staff from within the Elliott Foundation domain would be able to access this file if they had the link. The third option is anyone with the link. This option tells us that anyone on the internet with this link can view. This is a really useful option if you want to share Google Docs or Google Slides with family or external visitors. It means that they won't be required to have a Gmail account to log in, and they won't be required to be part of your organisation to view the file. When we're sharing a link, we have a couple of settings. The first setting is linked to the Elliott Foundation option. You are given the option using the settings cog to decide whether people in the Elliott Foundation can search for this file. As the owner of the file, you are able to select or unselect this box. The second option that we're given is one that most of us will be very familiar with. When we share the link, we're also able to grant the level of access that the person or the end user will have. There are usually three options. When they open the link, do you want them to just view the file? Would you like to give them permission to comment on the file? Or would you like to give them permission to edit the file? So it's really important that when we're copying the link, at the same time as selecting whether it is restricted, Elliott Foundation, or anyone with the link, we also select whether we want them to be able to view, comment, or edit. The last thing that I wanted to cover in this video was a pop-up which we've recently seen added to the G Suite applications. Here you can see an example of where I would like to share a file with somebody via an email. I'm being given two options here. The first option is that I can share a file that I've embedded into an email with the individual person listed just here. It's giving me the option again. Do I want to share and give them view access? Do I want to share and give them comment access? Or do I want to share the link and give them edit access? The other option I'm given is to turn link sharing on for the whole of the Elliott Foundation. It's likely that in this example, you only want to share it with the person that you've shared it with in the email. And this gives you the option to decide whether that's going to be view, comment, or edit access. There is also the option to not give access at all. Once you've selected that, you can click invite and then that access will be granted.